Alright, how's it going out there, BoLS readers? Today we have a battle report for you with Horde's Trollkin versus Warmachine Khador. We're doing Trollblood Gunnbjorn over here versus Khador's epic eSorcha, and there she is right there in the middle. I'm going to be playing against Nick today. Nick, got anything you want to say about your army? What you got set up here? Any cool synergies you're going to try to be getting off on me?
All I'm going to be trying to do is take out your trolls during Sorcha's feet turn with the behemoth. That's the only reason I'm here today.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And I got to tell you, with all these heavy beasts I'm running, I am pretty afraid of Epic Sorcha's feet. Her feet doubles any damage taken, so that's going to be extra good with this beast heavy list I've got. What I've got today is Gunnbjorn, like I just said. I'm going to be trying to make the most of his cool battle group spell that lets me boost all my attack rolls. So to that end, I've got a Winter Troll. He's got a nice spray breath weapon, and that's always good when you can boost all your shooting attacks. I've got a Blitzer, a Bomber. I've got Rock to do some heavy hitting, but he also has a cool breath attack, and that's going to be really useful. And then I got a Slag Troll. So the idea is hopefully between Rock, the Bomber, the Winter Troll, I've got enough options to take care of both heavy armor and mobs of infantry. I've got a Krillstone Bearer to help buff the armor of all these beasts, hopefully make them a little harder to kill. And then of course I've got the obligatory whelps who are going to be there to help me deal with threshold checks and help with some healing. I've got Janissa to throw out an extra rock wall, and hopefully that will keep my trolls from getting charged and just broken to pieces. And really I guess that's about it. Over here, let's go take a closer look at Nick's army. This is what he's brought to destroy my trolls. We've got a Winter Guard Death Star with Kovnik Gorvich, of course. We've got Winter Guard Mortar, Beast 09, and Behemoth, both excellent at squishing trolls. We've got a little cadre of Manhunters going on. We've got the one, and then also another one with Yuri, and some Widowmakers, which I guess I looked out there because I don't really have any infantry for them to take down. So we will come right back after turn 1 movement. Oh, and we are playing the Steamroller 2012 scenario, outflank, outfight, outlast, and that means Nick and I are both going to be trying to go for these zones here in the middle. Alright, end of turn 1, so I went second, mostly just a lot of moving up, getting towards the zones. I put my Rune Bearer in the middle, or that is to say my Krillstone Bearer, full of fury, so it could buff the armor of all these beasts. It's also doing no continuous effects, but that's not going to matter. And it's pretty much the same story over here with the Khador line. The 2 jacks are hopefully too far, or well, are definitely too far away to charge anything, even with Boundless Charge. We've got a bunch of Winter Guard over here, so it's just about to get dicey with as we start to move into these zones. We can't start scoring them until the end of the second player's second turn, so that isn't a concern quite yet, but as it's turn 2 about to begin, we're going to be able to bring in reinforcements soon, so we're going to have to see what those look like. Alright, end of Nick's turn 2. First of all, my big loss for this turn was Janissa Stonetide. I thought I had come up with a clever way to protect her with a rock wall that she placed, but unfortunately there was still enough room for Yuri to squeeze in and take her out with reach. So that's my big loss. Other than that, I've only lost a whelp, so I'm doing okay. Some of my beasts took a little bit of damage, but it wasn't too bad thanks to the Krillstone aura. Since the start of my turn, I've gone ahead and brought in my reinforcements. I brought 3 Long Riders and a Fellcaller. They're a nice, fast-moving, fairly self-sufficient little group, so they're always great to bring in as reinforcements because they're fast enough that even if your flank isn't doing the way you want it to, they can still hopefully get somewhere else. Nick brought in a Spriggan as his reinforcements, so it just ran to get into the zone, and that means it's looking a lot trickier for me over here because now I've got Rock and a Slag Troll that are going to have to fight the Spriggan and the Behemoth. Over here, Beast 09 is staring down some trolls, and I've got to clean up these Winter Guard and maybe hopefully score a point this turn, although I think that's going to be pretty difficult with Beast 09 standing there. And finally, I have a Manhunter trying to chew away at my Bomber. Now, she wasn't really able to hurt him very badly, but that means he's engaged now, and I got to figure out a way to get rid of her, or I can't throw any bombs. So that's where we are right now. Gunnbjorn's got full fury, and my beasts are frenzying. Let's come back and check it out after the end of my turn 2. Alright, we're about to start next turn 3. Just wanted to go over what's been going on here. I did pretty well on this flank. I've gotten rid of most of the Winter Guard thanks to some bomber throws. The Winter Troll sprayed that irritating Manhunter for me, killed her, and that meant my bomber was able to throw some bombs. So doing okay over here. There were a lot of successful tough rolls though, so I wasn't able to completely clear out the area. The Long Riders managed to eliminate Joseph Grigorovich, so that guy isn't going to be making him tough anymore. Gunnbjorn got a lucky critical devastation, and Beast 09 was thrown out of the zone. So I'm hoping that since it's going to need to shake to charge, it'll only have 2 focus on it. Hopefully that'll mean that with the Creelstone buff, my Blitzer will be able to survive. Although with Sorcha's feet, that's probably wishful thinking. And over here, pretty similar story. I've got 2 Warjacks that look like they can come and with Sorcha's feet probably take out both these guys. So I'm hoping he won't have enough range or focus. He's got Boundless Charge. That's going to cost some focus to cast though. That will mean not enough focus. Hopefully on the Warjacks from the dish out quite enough damage to take everything down. So this turn could probably end it for me. I had to move guys up in order to contest zones and try to score them. And just because of the amount of damage Nick's going to be able to put out, probably not looking so good for me. But we can always see how it goes. Yep. That's about all I got to say. Nick, you got any thoughts?
I'm looking forward to this next turn.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. All right. Out for now. All right. So, it could have been worse, is all I'm going to say. It could have been worse. I lost this Blitzer and the Slag Troll. I think the Blitzer should have made it, but man, Beast 09, he just punched the crap out of it, getting an 11 with his open fist roll, and man oh man, on Sorcha's feet turn, that means that's 12 damage right there, even with the Krill Sonar. So that guy just got taken right out of the fight. Our little Slag Troll, that was a little bit more expected because he got charged by the Behemoth over here. Now, my big saving grace was that the Spriggan totally whiffed with his charge attack roll, so that means Rock is still alive. I've still got a Bomber, I've still got a Winter Troll. Hopefully I can really put some pain down this turn. We'll have to see what happens. But maybe, just maybe, I can clear this zone over here. But yeah, not looking too great. I've got a really annoying Manhunter. Same thing as last turn with my Bomber. I have a Manhunter over here engaging Rock, making sure that if he moves, he has to take one heck of a free strike. And we've also got Sorcha looking probably looking a little bit more vulnerable than she actually is. Gunnbjorn, the angle for him to actually get to shoot her, he just doesn't really have it because of the way the forest is set up. Even if the Bomber moves into the forest, I don't think he'll have 3 inches because he'll have to go through difficult terrain. So even though she's pretty close, I can't do an assassination turn, and I'm just going to have to try to score a point somehow on this zone over here. Alright, so I'll be back when my turn is over. Alright, well, over here my plan worked out. I did manage to clear off the zone, so I got a point for that. In order to do that, I had to put Primal on the Bomber, between that and the +1 to strength from the Creelstone Aura, gave him 18. That was enough for him to finish off Beast. So then we had Winter Troll sprays, Fell Color sprays, and Long Riders mop up the rest of the Winter Guard that were in there. So good news over there. On this flank, unfortunately, things went a lot worse. Rock didn't even manage to take out any systems on these 2 guys, so they are just going to punish him terribly for his mistake next turn. That's a given. And then, you know, unless some kind of dice miracle happens, Nick's going to score a point there. and with that heavy lost and the bomber over here automatically frenzying thanks to primal next turn, that means I'm going to be struggling to keep up. But at least I have a point, so that's pretty good, but not looking as great as I'd like. And we'll be back after Nick finishes off his turn, and hopefully not Rock. Alright, so there we go. Pretty predictable. Rock gone. Very sad. A lot of my KSB gone as well. And Nick has a point for himself now. eSorcha, again, looking a lot more vulnerable than she is. She's out of line of sight for pretty much everybody. I don't think there's going to be any way to take care of her this turn. So I think they're looking particularly great for me, but maybe I can figure something out. That's it for now. Alright, I moved some models around, but there really wasn't much point to it. Well, I did score a point. I mean, as you guys already saw, upon clearing Rock out of the objective, Nick scored himself a point there. With eSorcha, I had basically one very slim chance to assassinate eSorcha, and that was to spray her with the Winter Troll spray through the bomber. If I had been able to hit and crit with that and also roll a pretty high damage roll, that would have allowed the Fell Caller, who ended up over here, to walk over, do the same, maybe get another high damage roll with his POW 12. But that was incredibly slim, and I probably just should have called the game right then, because at that point it was over. But I did try to get some long riders over to her, really to no effect, because now at the end of my turn Nick scores, and then at the end of his next turn he scores. So that's a total of 3 points. That's all you need to win, outflank, outfight, and outlast. So definitely a loss for me there. And I think really the big lessons here, number one, my problem with Rock from the beginning was always that while Primal seems really cool on paper, losing that whole turn for a heavy beast with the auto frenzy is just really nasty, because, and that's pretty much the situation here. eSorcha was the one who claimed this control point, or rather I should say who contested it, keeping me from scoring it again. And if this bomber hadn't had to frenzy and lose a whole activation, he could have been able to walk into the woods, at least throw some bombs at her, maybe be scary enough that Nick wouldn't have wanted to risk it. But since he knew the bomber was going to lose his whole activation because of Primal, he could just put eSorcha right up there and be like, okay, well, I know you don't have line of sight with Gunnbjorn, you can't really hit with anything else. So that gave him the confidence he needed to contest the point, kept me from doing anything to retaliate. And I really think that is in a big way why I lost the game, although it didn't help that Rock couldn't handle his own over here. But man, even Rock can't take Behemoth and a Spriggan. That's probably asking too much of that guy. So it was a lot of fun. I lost. It always sucks to lose, but like I said, there's definitely something to learn here. So that's still something to be gained. So I hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks a lot, and that is it for Trollbloods vs. Khador.